Ji, Assalamu alaikum, and thank you for inviting me. And I'll try to speak both in English and a little bit Urdu, is sort of a way I go, but I'll basically will speak in English. Thank you to our local partner, Sayyid Asif Zaman and his firm, and thank you to Pakistan Business Council to be part of this event. Basically, my topic came in because, as we all know, tax amnesty has been declared by the government of Pakistan for the assets until April 8, 2018, and the undeclared income for all Pakistani citizens, and take this opportunity. Here, the opportunity is for your past deeds. Whatever you have not declared, either your income, domestic asset, or foreign asset, and you wish to declare to avoid any penalty or persecution, right? And you pay a very modest, extremely modest, and I'll congratulate Ashfaq and his team, who were the committee, tax committee, and coming up with the proposal of such a modest payment in comparison to especially India. Definitely, I heard Indonesia has come up with no sort of a payment amnesty program, where India came with 45%. The way this committee worked was excellent. In fact, they've been criticized by a lot of other Pakistani citizens based on the principle of equity. Okay, if somebody is being paying higher taxes all his life, why this amnesty coming for those who were not honest? In spite of all this criticism, this committee been able to convince the political leadership at that time that this is the only way to come up for the new beginning. And I'm really again congratulate this team of coming with such a, no doubt, there are a lot of small here and there questions and things, lacuna left out by the bureaucrats in final drafting the law by the law ministry and FBR. There are still some of them, and State Bank, things are being worked out still as of today. But principally this scheme, I personally believe, is a good approach. If somebody says, Purane guna maaf karwa lo apne, right? And if I were in the part and I've been asked, I would honestly tell them, ki don't make 5, 3 or 2, make it 2.5% so that zakat do aur jaan chhadwa lo. You know, whatever you did, the past misdeeds, if ever you have done it, by intent or no intent, by mistake, just pay this and come up. And this is the modest one can think of it, okay? My jobs comes in as a professional. Definitely, I love my country. I'm a nationalist too, in spite of having a dual nationality on myself. But I love my country, my birthplace. But nevertheless, I'm a professional. I see what law permits me and my other countrymen to take advantage of the law within the parameters. By following the law of the land of the country you are citizen, as well as the country in you wish to be, and which could be favorable to your assets and income. That's your legitimate right. And one should be aware how to use that legitimate right. Right? And then the option, whether you want to use that right or you don't want to use just your wish. But this is the tax planning too. Okay? So this is what I'm trying to say. To understand this basically, after declaration finishing on 30th June, which Mr. Ashfaq Tola and Shabaz Zaidi were there in ICAP seminar last week, okay, it's most likely not going to be extended, but still people have a hope they will be extended because still some clarities are outstanding. Say, It's June 30, 2018 is the day, let's assume. Thereafter, what are the options, planning tools available to my countrymen, and especially people who are non-residents? Agreed? Now, next slide, please. Before we enter into this domain, we have to first understand the tax residency concept. When the law will come and tax you. If you are tax non-resident, you are not under law to declare your income to Pakistan, and we are talking in context of Pakistan, nor you are under law required to declare any asset to Pakistan government or tax authorities. That's the law. Then the question comes, who are tax non-resident? Right? Now, next slide. In most of the countries, I'm talking here including Pakistan. Now, Pakistan tax law says, if you're staying 183-day rule, if you're physically present for at least 1 3 days of the year in a particular country, you are counted as a resident for tax purpose. And if you're less than 183 days, you're tax non-resident. Right? This law changed before 79. There was a tax resident, but not ordinary resident. There were little complications. Now, if my old colleagues, chartered accountants, would watch for me, at that time such laws were there. But then, I think so in the term of Mehboobillah Haq, the clarity further came, it's tax and a non-tax resident, period. If you're not physically present in Pakistan for more than 182 days, you're not a tax resident. Accordingly, you will be taxed only on Pakistani income. Period. There are misconceptions in my non-resident friends, businessmen and friends and colleagues here, कि oh, मेरा तो ये रह गया तो मेरा तो बाबा तुम पे टैक्स है ही नहीं, तुम क्यों परेशान होता है? First, you see whether that law affects you or not. That's the main point. If it affects, then we see what are the solutions. Definitely, amnesty is there. But then there are situations when you were tax non-resident previously, now you become a tax resident, then you say your earning was during the non-tax residency period. There are ways to handle it under the law. So first we will see those, my non-residents colleagues, most of here are here. If you have not spent 183 days in Pakistan, you are not tax resident for a period, we have to see. The one concept my tax non-resident friends say is a relief, first part. The second part, where I want my friends to be assured and feel free, under Pakistani income tax law, income before last 5 years normally will not be reopened. Or practically 6 years. Theoretically called 5-year rule, but practically 6 years. Because the officer cannot come and open. You can take shelter in that too. Now you look into your 5-year regime and see what you have declared or what you have not declared. If you're not declared, are you supposed to declare? If yes, must declare. We all must follow the law of the land, period. Whatever is the law, we must follow. Right or wrong, we should not go into that debate. That's the legislature or assembly to debate. Or nowadays, the court to debate. We have to look from that perspective. And you declare. Next. Now I'll come to, after this basic distinction, I made it and make the life of my non-resident friends and colleagues easy. What are the tax-free countries Pakistan only taxed the tax residents. We got it clarity on that. And we should be worried about last 5 years. That is cleared. Tax non-resident does not have to show foreign assets under 116A. Only tax resident has to show. That also we got the clarity. Now, who are the tax-free countries? These are the tax-free countries. As you all know, in UAE, you're not paying income tax. VAT is a consumption tax. It's not an income tax. Now we are talking of income tax. And these are the countries. So if you're a resident of these countries, you're the lucky ones. And you're not spending 183 days in Pakistan in a year, no exposure. If in the foreseeable future or whatever in the past. Next, please. Then why Mr. LALANI is here to say about second passport? We already have residency of UAE. We have never stayed 183 days in Pakistan. We have no exposure. 99% yes. You have no exposure, to the best of my knowledge. I'm not a practicing accountant, please. Don't misunderstand. I left my practicing in 1992-93 accounting and gave it to Tola to look into and explore that world. I am exploring other world. I did practice from 1980-81 to 92-93, so I have a basic concepts what it comes around. Why these countries? Those who still believe, God forbid, law will change, Supreme Court will take the suo motu, something goes wrong, right? The new government, Imran Khan, will come with the new legislature and still want to protect little more than supposed to be done. There are people in the world who are more conservative than the accountants and want to protect. Fair enough. Yes. Then you can have a second nationality of the countries where you are not taxed because you're tax non-resident of that, and you get the passport of those countries. I can get a passport of, say, St. Kitts and Nevis, let's assume. I'm not residing because that law does not require me to reside there to be a passport holder. Agreed? So I'm getting another passport. I'm not please advising you to do that, but I'm saying there's a tool. Be careful. And you believe, and the law allows you to be dual national, let's assume. And you have a financial instruments or banking accounts and all those things, and you don't want a shadow of Pakistani passport goes on those assets and transactions. You go to your bank, I'm a Dubai resident, I'm a citizen of St. Kitts, period. You got a veil, another burqa laga diya aage, which are legally doable. You're not lying. You have a residency of the UAE and nationality of you're putting a veil. God forbid you wish to do that. Or those, my Pakistani brothers, which I believe still there are some of my brothers and the friends which they should not do, but they will still not declare all their assets. This is my presumption. I pray I'm wrong. But the historical facts told me, no, Sikander, you will be much more than right. Okay, all my Pakistani brothers and businessmen will not declare everything. Then they definitely needs a veil to hide their face. Right? But I personally, honestly, believe in following the law. किसी ने ज़्यादा सिगरेट पी के कैंसर हो गया, इसका मतलब डॉक्टर्स को छोड़ दे? नहीं. There is a solution, we tell them. Now, protect. Second, those who are declaring even in the amnesty totally 100%, but want to protect the future income from those assets. And being a tax non-resident, they're not liable. But still they want to put another veil in it. So they can do that by putting a second. Next. We all know CRS, Common Reporting Practice, has come up, OCEDs, right? And we all know that Pakistan has become signatory under pressure, not by desire to be, because our good politician friends who's absconding and staying in UK and somebody's are there, become the ministers and all bloody, they don't want to sign these documents. Now we have to document. And come September 2018, there is a likelihood to be exchange of, but of the financial assets, not the real estate asset as yet. I'm not saying you should not disclose, but I'm saying what law is saying, you must read that. Be protective of those assets. It means your bank balances, your stocks and bonds, and whatever the financial brokers work to. And in the, say, I go to the bank, in Dubai Islamic Bank, and I say I want to open my account. They say, okay, do you have Dubai residency? I say, yes, sir. This is my Dubai residency. He'll issue my checkbook, TIN numbers. They are now asking us to sign a paper which is FACTA and CRS together. Previously, they were making you sign only FACTA, which is, I'll come again on that part, and CRS form. Now, recently they started from January 1st, signing of CRS form. Old accounts they are not asking as yet. If you're going and opening a new account, then they're asking. And you say, I'm Dubai resident, you show their residency, they ask you address, they ask you the nationality. Right? Always. If you have a second nationality, you give that which is a tax-free zone. Assume St. Kitts navies in other countries. You want to put a veil, you put it a veil. Or even UAE government, which have my doubts, I may be wrong. The US central bank will share all the information so easily. They will come with a lot of if and buts. And depending how good Pakistani delegate able to go to the council of OCID or CRS and insisting that they should, which I have my doubts because of the politicians and the bureaucrats are the people. Their assets are more here than others. But Allah kare, ye ho. Or ye declaration bhi hai. CRS ka. In that sense, the UAE central bank will ask all the commercial bank, as the state bank did to the Pakistani banks in case of FACTA, give us the information on all Pakistani nationals who are not UAE residents first, non-resident from the purpose of UAE and Pakistani national, and they will share that data. And to the best of my due diligence and information through the Central Bank of UAE, they're not going to share the information of Dubai residents or UAE residents. And that is not required under OECD too. Right? They are only required TIN number, tax residency. Tax identification number, if you recall it, the banks may have asked someone. Right? And some must be here, the banker who must be in the compliance department of the bank or a CFO of the bank here, sitting here. Those who are UAE, those who are UAE residents, to me should not be fearful. But nevertheless, you should follow the law of the land of Pakistan if you're a citizen of Pakistan. This goes without saying. Agree? What will happen on a FACTA now? CR is gone. Now talk on FACTA, the US law, which came in 2010, and then lot of information all the banks in the world who were so afraid of US, which they are still afraid of it, asking all their clients, please sign this document that you are not a tax US resident or a US citizen. And they made everybody new account holder or existing account holder to sign. CRS, they are just asking the new account holders. Think of it two similar laws. Because America बड़ा दादा है, तो उसने बोला है तो existing भी दस्तखत करेगा साला. And if it is FACTA, it is CRS, only new account holders are being asked at present, which is my knowledge. I may be wrong, or they may do it later. Once the FACTA law came in, next, what happened? So many Americans, citizens, they renounced voluntarily their citizenship. They say, we don't want to be part of this declaration. Here comes, take it away. As is it, so many Americans and the Canadians, we call the northern people, used to have a citizenship of the Caribbean country for a tax planning tool. It's not a new tool I'm creating. It's there for decades. Or any other European country where tax residency concept is very crystal clear. Only America is a country where tax residency is based on PR status, not the physical residency. Whereas worldwide is on the physical day basis, or in Canada, there is a deemed tax residency. And some of the other European countries, including UK, has some deeming. Domicile, tax domicile. They come with the concept of tax domicile. Next. Now these are the famous people of US citizens. They gave up their citizenship of USA just because to do a tax planning. And we are lucky. Pakistan government is not asking, as long as you're tax non-resident, continue to enjoy. But you should be aware what are the steps to be taken in a planning phase to keep yourself away from the tax laws or tax penalties. Even, I think so Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg also moved to Singapore for his tax planning. And then he was asked to come back. Because then he was offered, because then they went into data issues and a lot of issues. He doesn't want to expose himself too much on other things. But a lot of people do the tax planning. A lot of multinational companies, Intel, Google, they all do tax planning, and they go and move their money to Ireland under tax treaty. So tax planning is a legitimate legal tool to avoid or avoid tax, not evade tax. Next. UK legislature पे भी हम थोड़ी सी बात कर लेते हैं. Let's come. They are now trying to make in 2021 the law will come that any property is in UK which has been registered offshore trust must be declared. तो मेरे मियाँ साहब फंसेंगे थोड़े से और उधर जाके, because they all are under offshore trust, BVI or Panama or Paradise or whatever the names they are. And those companies have an assets in UK, the real estate assets. They're all trying to avoid and hide that. So under this rule, this will come. Only UK has come with attacking the real estate at this stage. And it's yet to come. It's not there, yet to come. And then next, everybody knows money laundering and money transfer on terrorism, they're coming. What I'm understanding under, even in this amnesty law, the State Bank and the Ministry of Finance and FBR are not allowing paying the tax amount through exchange companies or other than the relative is because of this, then money laundering comes in. If you're doing from your family, this is the one fear they don't telling. If it's money coming from your account or relative, fair enough. But it's coming from the exchange company or unknown person, then the concept of money laundering may come in. And they are going on 26 or 28 there to explain that we are putting our laws in order not to come on a grey list. This is my fear. I'm not knowledgeable on that. I'm not saying it is because of it. I'm trying to correlate. Otherwise, in my wisdom, why should the government of Pakistan not accept money coming through banking channel for the tax amount to be deposited in the treasury, where the exchange company in Dubai pays that amount or remit that amount against the passport copy of remitter. Identification is there. All the money exchange companies send is through banking channel, wire transfer. Then why it's not been allowed? This is my fear or this is my assumption. Otherwise, identification is there. I go to money changer Al Ansari, this is Sikandar Lalani, this is my passport. On my behalf, please make one wire transfer of $25,000 to the government treasury, National Bank of Pakistan, under this account. He's willing to do it, but the government is not accepting it. And my fear is government, without saying this, are worried about money laundering. And they may decide, after once they do the meeting with them, I don't know, and after extension may be or may not be. Otherwise, I don't see any reason. If I'm giving my identification, exchange coming sending by the wire transfer, why it cannot be accepted? Or the worst, which I don't want to think, bureaucracy doesn't want this policy or this framework to go success, which is I'm not thinking it could be ever. I'm thinking bureaucracy is on board to make it this success. Most of the people can't transfer the money just because of this lacuna. To the best of I have an accounting practice too, but my partner runs, and I have friends like Ashfaq Tola and Shabbar Zaidi. I ask them, how can person want to disclose his assets, let's assume $100 million, and want to pay 5%, $5 million? He doesn't have a cash here because cash is outside. How can he remit? He doesn't want to disclose his own account or doesn't have the account, let's assume for a sec. So this is, the lacunas are there. Next. This is all related to it, and I don't want to. Now I'm coming to the countries, which is my domain basically, and I try to explain, okay, it is very legitimate to have second citizenship, but there is an issue of Citizenship Act 1961 in Pakistan on some of the countries, majority of the countries. Only 19 countries has been recognized, has been notified to can have a dual nationality in Pakistan under Citizenship Act. 2 are negative list, India and Israel. Rest is the grey list. And one of the good constitutional lawyer in Pakistan, I have a respect for that person, and he represents a lot of big political figures in the Supreme Court. He says if government of Pakistan want to take away your citizenship, they must give a notice to you if they come to know in case you have dual nationality with a country other than 19 countries. So they are bound to give you a notice, okay, we have come to know you have remarried or you have a second wife, why don't take your first wife, get a divorce from you? The notice has to come, right? But what is happening, The country like Germany is not on the list of 19, or Norway is not on the list of 19. There's so many Pakistanis who are dual national and resident there too. And government has never ever given notice to them. Either they don't have a political will to do that, or no have intent to do it, or doesn't have a time enough to look at that points. They're so busy with their own issues. Or this is since 1947, 48. They have added to some countries over a period of time. US was added later on. Iceland is added into it. And lately, last year, I think so, one of the Middle Eastern country has been added. Must be some personal interest of some political figure and must have got it in. So this is what I'm trying to say. You can have a dual nationality. And it's a gray, except the 19 country, which include Canada and USA is a part of the 19 country, UK is a part of 19 country. But there are the bunch of the countries which we promote are not part of 19 countries. But we have not seen either. However, one of my clients has gone into Lahore High Court and claiming, and the case is still pending, Khalid Anwar is taking this case, he's running, is fighting that case. My fundamental right is affected if you're giving to 19 countries, not to this country in which I'm a citizen. Unless you say that country citizens are all criminals. My fundamental right. That case is with the Lahore High Court. Right? And I was told by Rashid Anwar, I'm taking the name because he's my lawyer, and he says, Sikandar, when the case went to the judge himself is a dual national with Canada. As such, judge says, I don't want to hear this. And I know Rashid, Khalid Bhai, they are super people. They're very upfront people. Okay, that's the reason, Sikandar, we can't move further. I said, then, say, okay, we are putting another request to the court. However, court has ordered, okay, whatever ask the government to do, so they are going to put to the court, okay, put a timeline, the government should act yes or no. Put a timeline to it. So they are going to put an application, another to the High Court of Lahore or Punjab, whatever you call it. So this is what I'm saying on the nationality part. The products which we promote are Caribbean countries, the St. Kitts, Antigua, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia. Then in Europe, we promote Bulgaria, Portugal, Malta, Cyprus. And Hungary, we used to promote residency, but they have stopped. They might come with a new law or new things to promote direct citizenship program in October, November. But they're still nationalists. They have some elections just gone through. Now they will sit down, win the election. They are always against the foreigners, but when elections comes out, they see the money, €500,000 coming in. They say, okay, look into it. I had the pleasure or not a pleasure of meeting those ministers and the prime ministers, how they react and how they see and how they say. Our ministers are not the only one breed. There are so many in different countries, similar breed. So don't worry on that. I'll get back. And North America, USA, and Canada. These are the countries we promote. Next. These are the 5 Caribbean. Next. These are the requirements, how you can obtain, how much money you have to pay, what documentation you may have to do. This is, I'm not going into it. I just put a slide, read out. No, if you want to detail meeting me in person, I don't want to waste everybody's time. Next. This is video, I think so we should pass off because I have a limited time to come. These are the countries visa-free travels. Now, this is little interesting. Because there are my clients who are high net worth, they get the visas too. It's not that they are not getting the visas to travel, but they need a convenience. घर में एक गाड़ी है, बीवी लेके सलून चली गई, और आप इंतजार करें, she will be back and then I'll travel. That's not good. You will say, hey, let's have a second car in the home. You take your car, I take my car. Whenever I need. So then you are keeping 2 passports. You don't have to go and get the stamping of visas and waiting for a week, 10 days, 15 days, 2 months, depending on the country to country. And you had a meeting last night, a telephonic meeting, and say, okay, let's meet in person in London, or say Zurich, or anywhere. You have a second passport, you took the ticket, you went up. That's the ease of doing business, ease of doing travel for pleasure, and little relaxed mind. Yes. No wait time. That's the key. And normally, the more you become wealthy, more comforts, more luxury you look for. It's a human nature. You need a luxury. This is one luxury, I would say. Some of my clients comes, यार मेरे भाई को तुमने पासपोर्ट बना दिया, मेरा क्या? Luxury. Dekha dekhi, which we call it. Half of my clients is because of that, but there are some needs out there. He took his children for a vacation. I could not because my visas are not granted so soon. Allah kare, the worst scenario, I'm not darao guy. Khuda na khasta, Allah na kare. At any stage in our history, we are not in good terms with the superpower, the crazy guy. And somehow they try to make us example like Iran. God forbid. God forbid. Immigrants are there. Then how you will travel? How will you move? Today, Iranians cannot apply to so many countries because of worries from the Uncle Sam. Nobody is ready to take money from Iranian bank. What to talk? Standard Chartered paid that price, penalty huge, by doing business to the Iranians. God forbid, Allah na kare mere mulk ko kabhi is kisam ki situation mein aaye. Lekin possibility is there. Even 1%, there is a possibility. Because we are nuclear state, we are not in good relations. It could happen anything. It's just to protect your legacy. Our slogan is, secure your legacy. LALANI slogan is secure your legacy. If you want to secure your legacy, have tools in with you. Only use when it is needed. Don't use, for the sake you don't like, but use when, God forbid, something. Why we insured ourselves sometime, our goods, not with the intent the ship will go down and I'll get the money. It says, in case happen, ship goes down, goods are lost, I get my cash flow is not affected, my running business will continue. Afsos phir bhi hota hai. This is how you have to look at, plan yourself. Provided you have resources to do. Provided you feel there is some risk to mitigate, you do it. Next. Again, this is a Caribbean country, Antigua, pass on please. All 5 countries. These are the list of the countries where you can travel without. And Grenada is one of the countries where you can travel to China. Because a couple of my clients came, Chinese are now bothering us with the visa. SIKANDER, what we should do? I said, take it Grenada. Travel to China without a visa. And China is my best friend, but still they were taking 3 months for the issuing the visa. At one stage came in. Okay, the invitation letter must come from this type of the manufacturer or blah, 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 blah. And they were bothered. Some of my clients took this second passport for their export managers who works in, you have to go to Africa, West Africa especially. The West African embassies in Islamabad is the worst. They take at least 3 months to process your paper and then they ask some money. Your business opportunity is gone. And with those passports, you can go to Western African countries and 120, 130, 140, depending on the passport. Next. This is Dominica is another island. They all, now let's understand the rationale. These small islands have no other resource than to sell themselves. To be very honest, they're not great countries. But in spite of being those 130, 120 countries in the world accept their citizen to arrive without a visa. They have absolutely no resources. Their politicians is not as corrupt but reasonably corrupt. I told the Prime Minister too when I had an encounter with him on asking some government officer. But still 120 countries accept their passport or citizen to enter their country. And ours, we are the 7th worst passport just because we have not done the right compliance. We are on a watch list of money anti-monitoring body. We are on the watch list of theirs and that. What's happening? Which we should not be. Next, please. Next. These are all countries. Next. Now comes to Canada. Canada and USA, two North American, I'll first mention in the next couple of minutes, are two countries where they say you come and settle and stay with us. Will be yours. Without physical residence, will not give. In those days, when you are physical resident, once you become a citizen, I'm taking a Canada, once you become a citizen, then you become a tax non-resident by leaving the country. But for the 3 or 4 years, when you are staying there, you are a tax resident. Then how are you going to do? Before there was an offshore trust tool, tax planning was available until 2002. Okay, you could create an offshore trust, put all your assets, income producing asset there, go to Canada, come back, take over the assets. And it was available. Since 2002, that's gone. What people are doing, they come to me, I said, one is that if you can park your assets with your nani, dadi, mom, dad, uncle, park your assets there, gift them out. No income, no tax. Gift is permissible under Pakistani law, no tax on that. When you come back, dadi give back to your children, not to you. And ultimately money will go to, assets will go to your children in our culture, or to your wife. Tax planning, simple, within the law. And in Canada we did the tax planning for my client. Worth $100 million clients, easily. Before 2002 was easy. It was a trust permissible under law. USA, no. You're once a resident, you are taxed for your life. However, the active income, earned income is certain portion up to 100,000 exempt, otherwise no. This is not for high net worth. This is for professionals who believe his income would be $100,000, $200,000. He pay 100 exemption, 50, 60,000 or 100, another 100,000. I pay some taxes to US. I'm protected. Children have a US passport. They can go to US good schools. Whenever I retire, I'll go and retire and stay in taxes. Pay only 20% tax. The Texas state has the lowest tax because there's only federal income tax, no state tax. There are tax planning tools, not in New York, where you have a federal tax, income tax, there's state income tax, there's a city income tax. You have to do right planning, that's all. And thank you very much for listening to me. I might have taken a little longer time. I'm extremely sorry for it. Any question, answers, I think so we do later on in 1-to-1. I don't want to consume my extremely good friend time, and I want him to come and explain what he did wonders for us through a tax reform committee and come up with such a good piece of legislature. And I hope everybody will take advantage of it for the past wrong deeds. Take care. Bye. Allah Hafiz.